The labor unions in Nigeria have suspended their planned nationwide strike, which was supposed to commence today. According to Nigeria's Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, the industrial action was called off after the union reached an agreement with the federal government to hold off on the planned electricity tariff for the next 2 weeks. In the interim, a joint committee, which includes members of the labor unions and headed by the minister, will review the justification for the policy hike. Chude Achike is a political affairs commentator. He joins me for this conversation. Chude, welcome to the conversation on Powerland West Africa. So much of this have been attributed to Nigeria's aggressive revenue drive. I'd like to know at this time the feelers that you have gotten and what complicated sides you may have been exposed to as far as this conversation goes.
Yeah, well, it is obvious that the government is on a revenue drive. There's no doubt about it. The way the government has gone about that aggressively, increasing the VAT, the value-added tax, by as much as 50%. Then stamp duty for people who do, transactions, some business transactions in the country, especially, through the banks. Then the hike in electricity rates, and then that of petroleum. So this, has gone on for quite some time. Obviously, perhaps the government did not expect this level of opposition to some of these increases. Because, you see, the thinking by government is that it needs to show up revenue in order to do the business of governance. But the question that some of us have been asking, and Nigerians have essentially been asking, is what is the business of governance? The business of governance is the people. So if in the process of, providing policies that will show up the revenue profile of the government, and at the same time you end up killing the people through imposing various levels of hardship on the people, then what is the essence of governance ultimately at the end of the day? Because the constitutional provision is that the duty and responsibility of government is to provide for the welfare and security of the citizens of this country. And Nigerians feel that the government has failed abysmally in this direction, and that the only way they can, handle the issue of foreign revenue is to punish the people, or impose this level of punishment on the people of this country. Meanwhile, another aspect of discussion has been that government functionaries have not reduced, government, especially perhaps among the highest in the world. If you look at what elected public office holders are earning, especially at the level of the National Assembly and the state houses of assembly, and then other aspects of governance. So there is nothing, when you talk about the lifestyle of the average elected public office holder, that has shown that they are fully cognizant of the serious economic difficulties that the Nigerian people are facing. But beyond that, again, is the question of this issue of subsidy. Why is it, again, we'll come back to the age-old question, why is it that our refineries are not working? Why is it that they have not been able to build new refineries after how many years? Why is it that when they wanted to buy up, sell electricity enterprises, the discos, they made the argument that they were not viable. So they needed to be sold to the private sector to make them more viable and to be able to deliver effective electricity to the people of this country. How come that with the measures of the economic problems that these discos have been having, the government has again put in about 1.5 billion naira, in the same privately owned corporations? So these are the questions that people are asking, and they are not getting answers from the government.